How do roof claims work? Right? Seems like a simple question and seems like a simple answer, but there's some things from the public adjuster side that I want you to understand that we are looking at to make sure not only is it a viable roof claim, but it's worth your while as a client, as a roofer, and even as a public adjuster. So let's get right into it today. How do roof claims work? In 3, in 2, in 1. What's up, advocates? Welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Claims Show. I'm your host, Vince Perry, the Commercial Claims Advocate, where you can find me everywhere on social media, but make sure you subscribe to this channel. Let's get right into it so we don't waste any time. Additional living expenses is one of the most difficult parts of an insurance claim. And the reason is it's very high pressure. And as a public adjuster or contractor, you're already dealing with the negotiating of the build back process. You don't want to have to deal with ALE as well. Black Diamond Housing Services does all of that. They don't even charge the client. They bill it directly to the insurance company. It's all covered under the ALE coverage. So you need to call Black Diamond if you have a house that has been severely lost, whether it's like severe mold, severe water, fire, or anything like that, where they need a place to stay. Call Black Diamond Housing Services and they'll be able to take care of your client from beginning to end. I had been looking for an accountant for years and I was unable to find anybody that I liked, that I worked with, and was able to do what I needed to be done to my taxes and to my accountant. Jeremy David at Noble Wealth has been a godsend to me, my family, and my company. We have saved so much money in taxes I can't even begin to describe, and he knows what he's doing. You need to call Jeremy at Noble Wealth and get yourself the right accountant because he's the man who's going to help you save on taxes, because ultimately you don't want to be making money, especially if you're self-employed, and having it all go to the IRS. Call Jeremy, call Noble Wealth, and they will help you tremendously with the entire accounting process and your tax situation from A to Z. Everybody needs an attorney on their side. So whether you're a public adjuster or contractor or anyone else in the insurance claims business, make sure that you have an attorney that you could rely on, that you can go to for questions whenever you need it. That guy for me for the last 12 years has been David Farber. David Farber is the owner of the Farber Law Firm, and he has been there for me from the beginning of my career until now. And I would love for him to be able to help you as well. So make sure you call him at this number here and visit his website so you can learn more about the amazing David Farber of the Farber Law Firm. How do roof claims work? Now, the reason why I wanted to have this topic is because, frankly, I think, let's get right to it. I think people are a little confused as to how roof claims work. People think that my roof is old and I need to replace it, and I see people have tarps everywhere, and my neighbor's replacing his roof, and he filed a claim and was able to replace his roof, and that's just what I need to do too. So let me go ahead and call my insurance, and let me call a public adjuster and get a roofer out here, submit a claim so I can get money for a new roof. That is not the case. Can I please make it clear that the insurance company, and for our editor, Georgie, please write this here, insurance does not pay for maintenance. Insurance does not pay for maintenance. That means if you have an old roof and you just feel like going ahead and replace it, then guess what? It is your responsibility, homeowner, to replace that roof. You know why? Because it's your house. It's not the insurance company's responsibility. Insurance is just that. It's insurance. It's insurance. It's insuring you that you have protection if a sudden, Georgie, write this too, if a sudden and accidental event occurs. That's sudden and accidental. What is a sudden and accidental event? A wind event, a hurricane, a tornado, a pipe burst, a fire, somebody breaking into your house and vandalism. That is what they cover. They don't cover wear and tear. They don't cover old damage. And like I said, they don't cover to upgrade or maintain your home. That is your responsibility as the homeowner. So I had to make that clear first. That is the most heated debate when it comes to roofing. Why? You've got roofers out there, and God, I love roofers. So before you start telling me, I get a lot of referrals from roofers. So you already know. I mean, it's probably one of my biggest referral partners are roofing companies. But when you have roofing companies out there and they have their door-to-door knockers, which I love because they find us work for us, and they're going up and they're just looking and inspecting a roof, and yeah, you got damage here, and yeah, you've got wind damage here, but we have no idea when this thing occurred. That's not it. It could just be the fact that the roof is old. It could be that the wind damage occurred years ago, and of course now there's, the shingles are flapping, or it could have been occurring over time. Any of that is not going to be covered. Now, your door-to-door knockers, they go out door knocking as soon as the storm occurs. Hailstorm hits, Roofers are out there door knocking. They go up to a roof and they see hail damage that looks new, or they see wind damage that looks new. Now you've got a claim. Why? Because a sudden and accidental event occurred to that neighborhood, to that home, that we could now say it is as a result of this storm. But if there's any question, if there's any doubt, walk away. Don't file the claim. And now I think I'm talking to roofers. Our public adjusters, don't file a claim because you're just wasting your time. You're just wasting the client's time in just going ahead and filing frivolous claims where it's just going to be a waste of time. And I know what you mean is right, okay? So I want to make sure that I'm not trying to say that anybody's trying to commit any kind of fraud or anything like that. It's just people, I think, are just unaware that you have to make sure you've got your ducks in a row when you present an insurance claim. This is why our industry as public adjusters is so important, because there's things in the policy that people don't know are covered and or are not covered, that when they present the claim, they just don't present it correctly and it just gets denied because the person on the inside, they're looking at different things. They know what the common exclusions are. They know what the coverages are. And if anything comes up in a statement or the way the claim is presented, it's just reason for them to deny the claim. So it needs to be presented correctly. So make sure you understand what is covered and what is not covered. The easiest way that I could explain this, that could pretty much cover almost anything, is what I tell any guy that comes on to or girl comes on to our team, is sudden and accidental. That's it. That's what you are proving when you walk into a claim. Is this something that just occurred, or is this something that could have happened a long time ago? If it could have happened a long time ago, or if it's been happening over time, that's not good. I think it's really important in roofing, which is I've been very blessed with this channel, that I've met a lot of people, and this goes for you as the clientele. Find a good roofing contractor as well as find a good public adjuster. Having a good roofing contractor for a public adjuster is like epic. A roofing contractor who's experienced with insurance claims and understands a sudden and accidental event, understands that they're not just going to go door knocking in a random neighborhood. They're going to wait for a storm to actually occur to go ahead and do that. That's a good roofing contractor. Good, honest. If you have your roofing contractor putting an estimate together, I have roofing contractors that do that for us. I want to make sure that it's an accurate estimate, that it's good to go, that they're not writing up anything that they're not supposed to be writing up, so I can present it to the insurance company and look really, really smart. Finding a good roofing contractor is really, really important for the client and for the public adjuster as well. Very, very important. I think it's also important to really understand your deductible. This goes for roofing contract and everything. Now, it gets a little dicey, right? Roofing contractor, reading a policy. Look, let's face it. We need to find out what the deductible is. If it's a super high deductible, especially after a storm, if we're talking anywhere from 5% to 10% deductible, then it might not be worth it. Find out what the deductible is. Find out what the worth of the roof is. And it may be a little bit too much, because you're just going to end up coming out of pocket like way too much. I think it's very important in roofing claims, if you see severe damage in your roof, mitigate. Mitigation is so important. You have to mitigate your damages. If you don't, I talk about the top 5 things you're supposed to have in every single claim. Top 5 things you have in every single claim. It should be photos, estimate. For us, we should have the contract, the LOR, photos, estimate, LOR, mitigation is one of them, and I can't think of the 5th one right now just because I think it's a proof of loss. Make sure that you have mitigation, okay? Some kind of proof of mitigation. Now, what is mitigation? It doesn't mean that you had hired a company to put a tarp up or to dry something out. Mitigation could be anything. It could be putting a tarp on the roof. It could be making a repair, or it could be one of those 2 things when it comes to the roof. Either making a repair or putting a tarp on a roof. Those are the most important things that you need to do in order to mitigate. But you have to mitigate, especially if you've got water coming in. It's super, super important that you do some kind of mitigation. Even calling a roofer out to give you a quote, we could actually consider that mitigation, where you're attempting to actually get this thing done. You just don't have the money to go ahead and do it yet. But make sure that you mitigate. Very, very important. Proper documentation, so important. Photograph the crap out of it. You have to take a lot of photos. Make sure you get as much photos as possible of the damage to your roof so that you can present it. But not just, and I'm talking about proper documentation, photographs and proof, right? Proof is so important with these roof claims, because if we're talking about a random wind event, guess what? You're going to have to go into NOAA or weather.com or whatever it is that you go to find out what the wind speeds were, because you're going to have to prove to the insurance company that there was indeed a significant wind event that occurred that caused that damage, that there was indeed a significant hail event that occurred that caused that damage. Get your documentation right, get it all in a row so that there's no question from the insurance company as to whether that roof is covered or not. Check the estimate that the insurance company writes. Roofers are great at this because they know what roofing is. That's where you get the supplements going. If your claim is denied, that's okay. Call a public adjuster roofer. You could call a public adjuster. We can go ahead and get that thing reversed. I can't tell you the amount of times I've received claims from roofers that the claim was denied and we were able to overturn that claim and get that claim covered. You also have the possibility of going to litigation and filing a lawsuit. Depending on your state, it may not be worth it for that attorney, or it may be worth it for your attorney. I would suggest, if you are a roofing contractor watching this, or if you are a consumer watching this, I would go the public adjuster route first. It's really no cost to you. We get paid a percentage based on what we recover. If we are unable to turn that decision around, we could still use the litigation process. But more often than not, I'd say my results on a denial, I don't know, 60, 70%, I'm able to overturn that sucker. It's really no loss. No, it doesn't hurt. You're left with nothing already. You might as well give it a shot with a good public adjuster. And how can you make the most out of the claims process? You gotta just be patient. Make sure that you document the crap out of the claim. Be open, be honest, and try to provide as much information as possible. That's how you're going to get the most out of the roofing claims process to make sure that that roof is covered. We do so much of this in our course. We do so much of this in our videos. We do so much of this in our group coaching, in our private coaching. We talk about making sure that you're doing all these things, that you're documenting everything, that you're teaming up with the right roofing contractors, that you're taking on the right claims that are actually worth it to the client and ultimately worth it for you. On commercialclaimsadvocate.com, we provide all this information. It's just really, really important, guys, that when you present a roof claim, that you present it correctly, because there's too many roof claims out there that either are just not worth it or not covered. And you guys are wasting your time submitting these claims. And what's worse is not only are you wasting your time, you're wasting the client's time. Make sure that you are presenting the proper claim that is worth it and that is covered. Especially in Florida, there's a lot of laws now against these roofing claims that make it life a lot harder. Where honestly, we're probably walking away of more than half of the referrals that we get for roof claims because based on some of the law changes that we have, it's not worth it. So I hope that was informative to you. I hope you don't disagree with everything that I said and you agree with a little bit of it. But frankly, that's what we're here for, to educate, to get the conversation started, really get going on this. I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the bell. Every single Wednesday, Content Wednesday, we have another episode coming out next Wednesday. We've got our Claims Gain podcast on Monday. We've got our Best Of on Friday. I think you're going to like this channel more and more and more as we continue to grow this thing. Go to commercialclaimsadvocate.com where you can find our course, our book, and access to find out what all of our meetups and our events are. We have our events all over the country and we get a lot of people out there. You're going to want to come out, meet me, and meet some of our people on our team. Also go on eliteresolutions.com. That is the public adjusting firm where we represent clients all over the country. We produce estimates for contractors, for attorneys, for other public adjusting firms. And also, if you want to become part of our team at Elite Resolutions, please go to eliteresolutions.com, send us a message. You can fill out an application and we can consider you becoming one of our team members as a desk adjuster, as a field adjuster, administrative, or whatever it is. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great week. Peace out.